front line, but they do have double marksman to try and carry a lot of those options. Now, the Galio being run up into the Jace in mid lane is a really interesting matchup because Galio, of course, gets a lot of natural resistances to magic. Of course, Jace will have that physical, and that damage split we were talking about between a Nidalee and a Jace is really favorable, so it's not like Nemesis can just freely build, you know, Ninja Tabis and feel great about that because there's still going to be magic damage coming through. So I do like that combination here from top.
Do FNATIC fancy themselves any shenanigans swapping the lanes around a little earlier than expected for the matchups? That's a question we'll see in a few minutes of time. But I do think this 369 into Bwipo matchup is where I really want to draw attention.
Been so good at roaming around the map, and they have globals in the bot lane as well if they want to play towards that top side, if they want to get inside of Selfmade's jungle early on. These are all going to be very good options for top.
If you've just joined us, we're in Game 4 of FNATIC taking on TES. TES are do or die once again. If they win here, they will force Game 5 and set themselves up for a potential reverse sweep. FNATIC, on the other hand, a win here will eliminate the second LPL team, as FNATIC had a hand in taking down LGD, and will set themselves up in a semi-final matchup against Suning. The 3 previous games were exceptionally good. Game 1 and 2 especially close as well. We're both flashing the emotes, as we haven't had any level 1 shenanigans. And when I look at the mini-map, it looks like a strong pull here from JackeyLove and Yuanja with Kasa. I feel like multiple times this series, Kasa's had a helping hand from either his top or his bottom lane as well.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Selfmade just starting leashless so that his bot lane can get either 2v2 pressure mid lane if they want to start hitting the wave, or as you can see there, Hylissang stepping forward into that second brush to maybe try and zone them off a little bit if they walked back to lane, actually through the lane from JackeyLove, but they walked through river. They're feeling good. Get on in there, don't end up losing any experience. But early levels, you can see the slow from Ashe, you know, the early CC from Hylissang, you do take solid trades here.
And Hylissang's also running Flash, Ignite plus Phase Rush, so wants to get involved. Let's see how the wave plays out as Reckless and Hylissang starts back away.
Yeah, and I will note, Yuanja's played a lot of the Halo Blades, Tom Kench, in this series. It's going to be Guardian this time around, so a little bit more of a defensive option. I think this is right, because what top don't want to do is play for like heavy skirmishing 2v2 around bot side. You'd much rather actually have that shield, especially in a matchup like this where Set is going to be coming to you. I think that is the better look here.
Not only is Set is coming to you, but how Reckless and Hylissang have played 4 games in a row, really, because even into the Ezreal Karma lane of Game 3, Hilly was still looking for opportunities, was still trying to push forward. Reckless that time around, previous game before that, rather, was playing the Ashe once again and worked out very well. Even CS across the board, but you're seeing 369 shoving into the mid lane, you're seeing Knight, 369 top, Knight shoving mid, and it's just the bottom lane that currently Reckless and Hilly are stepping forward with.
Yeah. Good route on Hylissang will be a little bit of poke, but for the time being, I think both junglers just going to be fully clearing through their camps. You know, both started on their blue buff, went, you know, towards the opposite side. They'll trade Scuttle Crabs very likely here. Because there wasn't any sort of like early play or like really heavy priority coming out of these lanes, Carson didn't feel like he wanted to go for the in-bait and flash forward.
That's a lot of damage. Devour comes out from Yuanja, spits JackeyLove out, and the root will not connect. So Hylissang committing, doesn't manage to get any summoner spells or really any huge advantage.
I mean, that was just a little bit wild there, and Hylissang's no stranger. Hylissang is the type of player that he'll learn matchups like this and be like, losing my flash there is worth it because we chunked them out to 50% HP and then we get perma-prio after that. Like, that's the way that he thinks about the game, and it's not always correct, or it's sometimes hard to see the logic in it, but right there, I don't think you're ever getting a kill off of that play, but using it and X-Flash.
Now, the exhaust comes out, Hylissang down to 300. That's a root onto Reckless. Summoning heal and flash still available. The shield comes out once again. JackeyLove and Yuanja start to back away. Heal traded back and forth, though.
Look at this. Selfmade is over the wall. This is exactly what he went for. He wanted to burn the early summoner spells, burn all the mana so that Selfmade can look for potential play here. And again, Hylissang has his Hex Flash. So he can pop out a brush immediately, just like he has a flash.
Caster's making his way from the bottom lane. That's the Hex Flash. Yuanja's going to get the Devour. The end of the line will not find the damage, and Selfmade forced to back away. Summoner Flash blown from Yuanja.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, though, it doesn't end up being that big a win for FNATIC unless they're able to do anything to JackeyLove, because now Karsa's in the bottom side of the map, and it's just a flash-for-flash trade between the two supports. There'll be a little window where I think, ooh, Selfmade?
Selfmade will be able to use the quick draw just to dash away from the Javelin toss and escape with his life.
Because the only difference here is that there's a window where Hylissang will have his flash and ignite, and Yuanja's summoner spells will still be on cooldown. And that's the window that FNATIC could, in theory, look to play around, but I really do think they were hoping to get a kill off of that play. That was the goal with using that early flash on the 2v2.
That has been the goal every single game this series from the bottom lane. And as you mentioned, like limit testing the champion of Set. forcing that flash very, very early.
Yeah, well, here's another thing that Hillsang likes to do. A lot of sports will, you know, take the reset and look for a roam. Here's Nemesis, has to skirt on out of this one.
Justice Punch by some time. Knight's low on mana, though, and Selfmade's now making his way
Yeah,
out.
Selfmade will just help him push this one out. But Hillsang will sacrifice his lane stay. I gotta hold that. We're fighting mid.
Is there going to be a flash committed? Not even going to be needed. There's the flash. Claims Justice Punch forward. First blood, FNATIC. 8 out of 9 games.
Really well executed on that one, too. Knew there was no real chance of a counter gank coming out of Karsa from the information he gathered earlier on, and that Knight wanted to aggressively trade so he could push that wave and reset. Really good move out of him, and Selfmade will also pick up the enemy Raptor camp.
So very nicely done by FNATIC. 400 gold advantage. 369 chasing down Bwipo. Honestly, I got scared when I saw 369 moving, but I realized no ultimate available, no unstoppable onslaught for 369. So it was just a wave clear. And for the time being, in contrast to the previous game in this matchup, Bwipo is holding a little bit more firm. Also, gone for Bomby Cinder as opposed to the Sheen for the first pickup.
Fair enough. Teleport behind. Nemesis wants Jacula.
Let's see what can happen. Jacula, flash is available to him. Hillesang's coming from the side. There's the taunt. The root did slow down Reckless. Winds of War comes out, and it's Hillesang that picks up the last hit. Not ideal, but FNATIC will still be happy with it.
I mean, are they just at a shooting range or something? Like, literally, FNATIC put everything into killing Jacula. Jacula just resigned to his fate there, knows a flash is not going to get him out of that one. So a really well-executed play once again from FNATIC to kill the top esports ADC.
Yeah, Roar of the Slayer there from 369. Dodged by Bwipo, but look at FNATIC. Now they're moving around the mini-map. Selfmade sitting in the mid lane. Dragon has been started here by Hillesang. There's not a huge amount of support. If I look at what could collapse, top may be able to.
Yeah, I think they're just going to end up giving this one away. Unfortunately for Karsa, usually he would like to play for a Rift Herald on the top side of the map. Instead, maybe just steal away the enemy blue buff. He has the respawn timer on that one, so could deny it from Nemesis, make sure Knight has a little bit more pressure in this lane. But at the same time, Selfmade's going to be doing the opposite, taking the blue buff on this side of the map. And the big difference between this game and I think last game is we're once again seeing the map very split, where FNATIC are playing towards the bottom side, but without the lane domination from 369, top are not doing as much.
Hillesang's in trouble. No flash. Remember, the shield did so much. Jacula below 100. Flash forward, bust a volley. Reckless and Hillesang, they did it again. Reckless and Hillesang will find the 2v2, and now with the minion wave, Conga lining its way forward. Nemesis can come in with the grand entrance. Yuyanja's the next target. Hilly jumps forward. There's not going to be any reply from top esports.
How do they keep doing this? They didn't even use an ultimate for that. They just chase down Jacula and murder him in the 2v2.
Fantastic decision making from FNATIC. Multiple games in a row. It is now 1,500 gold, nearly 2,000 gold lead in favor of FNATIC. And when you think about this org, when you think about this player, when you think about the resources and the ganking, Hilly and Reckless have won multiple lanes themselves and then got the support to win the game.
It's just the Hex Flash one more time, and Hillsang fully charged up on the Grit, gets massive damage out of the W, and the slows, the W flash there from Reckless actually to be able to finish off Jacula before his heal came back up is a thing of beauty in the 2v2, and look at the lapping from Bwipo. The man knows what's about to happen.
He absolutely does. I'm going to finish that point again, Ender. It is Reckless has been the face of FNATIC for as long as I can remember. And this is a player that has often been the focus of many ganks and much support from the rest of the team. But coming into Worlds, looking at the carry meta, even from Reckless's own words, I will sacrifice my lane to help Selfmade. That's what he said in interviews. Now with the help of Hilly, they are winning the lane single-handedly. And then the rest of the team come to take that advantage to win the game.
Yeah, and FNATIC now have that objective focus after getting the 6-minute dragon. 8 minutes rolls around, they're going to come topside. Reckless is safe in bot lane. They say he can continue to farm that one out because Nemesis will have his ultimate here if a dive comes through. FNATIC are playing the map actually really, really well right now. Even though there is no dive that's going to happen in bot side, they respect the fact that it could come through, and that's why Nemesis's pathing is really nice. Hillesang also cheating away from the Herald, you know, pretending that he's still topside because that's where he last showed, but he would be here in the event of any sort of play from TES.
Very heads up, and knowing anything from what FNATIC has done this series, Nemesis and Hilly will initiate. There's no flash on Jacula. There's no flash on Jacula. The Devour from Yuanja is going to be huge. The two-man pullback. Hillesang, that was gorgeous. The Devour comes down to Jacula. He spat back up towards the tower. Jacula is low. The Justice Punch from Nemesis. He flashed over and jumped backwards, but it's a trade. Bot laners for bot laners. Here comes Knight, and top esports are turning it around. It is an even better reply from the #1 LPL seed, and Hillesang gets taken to the skies by Knight's chase.
And Knight showing up for the shutdown is absolutely absolutely critical on that play. FNATIC had all the momentum coming out of this early game. Fight after fight, they just got the Rift Herald. If they get the Rift Herald and those kills without a reply from top, the game is over. They don't stand a chance, but top are now continuing to press forward and shut down FNATIC.
Yo, that looks so cool. Nemesis even flashing over the bot lane as the Justice Punch backwards. But I think you have to put yourself in top esports shoes. It has been aggro, aggro, aggro bottom lane. They had to be somewhat aware of this.
And the thing is, while 3 members of FNATIC show up here, they think they can get away with the 3 versus 2. But with their jungler in the top side of the map, Karsa was actually here very ready for this play. You know, Jaculov gets a couple more autos out because of his shield, and Karsa lands the spear onto Reckless. Finishing off Reckless means there's no more fight. If Reckless survives, FNATIC can turn around. They're fighting again.
And they absolutely are. Jaculov going low once more. Reckless steps forward. I think the volley
lost vision.
Not going to be able to do it. Lost the vision. That's right. The volley comes backwards. Karsa's low. Here comes Selfmade from the side. No collateral damage. That's on cooldown. Javelin toss misses his target. Karsa takes out Reckless. He's in a killing spree. Pull back underneath the tower. The heal comes up, and it's a 1-for-1 thus far. Now all of a sudden the taunt will be able to connect into Yanja, and Selfmade will be able to finish it off. 7 kills to 5. 400 gold is the lead to FNATIC, and this is exactly like games 1 and 2.
The game is just an absolute scrap around the bot lane. This time it's top, the first ones to strike, FNATIC to bring it back even. But they have the Rift Herald here, and the big winners are not the bot laners. It's the 2 junglers. Karsa got the double kill off of that play. Selfmade now 3-0-1, has the Dirk and uses the Rift Herald in bot side. He has a huge lead over everyone else.
Reckless and Hylissang have been sacrificed to give Selfmade the lead at this point in time. Very, very powerful position for this Graves. Don't forget that Nidalee was also a first rotation lock-in from top esports, 3-1-2-3-0-1. Ghostblade picked up
11
already.
minutes.
At 11.5 minutes. Okay, what does that do in terms of warping the gameplay? Because you already alluded there's a lot of squishes on tops.
It means that whenever Selfmade shows up, he must be target out. And Graves, low-range champion. There are some CC options from top esports, but not a lot of great ones. They have to be a little creative in how they can find him out, but Hylissang finds Knight.
Thundering blow into the knockback. Enchanted Crystal Arrow will get cleansed away from, and the flash. Now Bwipo, flash forward and face plants. Will not find the knockup that he wants. Teleport coming in now from 369. The rest of FNATIC are surrounded. Collateral damage does so much, but there's not enough follow-up. Reckless needs to get past 369, and he simply cannot. Hylissang stays alive a few seconds longer, and I take it back. Reckless can get past 369 because Selfmade is helping out. He's got the damage to do so.
Yeah, Selfmade has all the damage he needs, but he doesn't have the team with him just yet. Top are going to be able to sustain up here with the Nidalee and the Senna, and that could be good news for them as Hylissang continues to look, but is very low.
Very low indeed. The Javelin toss almost takes him out. Karsa connects with the shot. There's still a 1,000 gold lead, and it's not done yet. Dragon is up, and the TP's coming into the river.
Yeah, Bwipo can come into this one. Nemesis has his ultimate. Hylissang does as well. There's not really much of anything on the side of top esports. Knight won't be able to teleport in either, but Bwipo is looking for the flank.
They're going to come in behind top esports. That's the engage, the slam dunk showstopper. FNATIC want to make it to semi-finals, and they'll take down 369. They'll start hunting Yanja. The blast cone is available. Hop forward. Karsa gets Selfmade. Jungler on jungler action. And now Knight has joined the fray. Bwipo and Nemesis trying to hunt down Karsa. He's going to be able to pounce away to safety. Yanja gets pulled backwards, and the Grey Health won't be enough to save him. Reckless rejoins the fight once again and will take down Knight at the cost of Nemesis. 21 kills, 13 minutes, and the Dragon went the way of FNATIC as well.
As FNATIC are winning these fights, Karsa is going absolute god mode, trying to pull this game back for top. He even looks for Reckless, see what he can do on that play. 5 kills now on the Nidalee, but it is just barely him walking away with anything in this because the setup was perfect. Level 6 on Hylissang is able to come in, the flank TP. It's beautiful, but Karsa lands huge spears, hits it onto Selfmade right there. That's when he thinks, I've got my moment. Jumps forward, shuts down that Graves, plus 650 gold, and is able to escape with that blast cone on top. But you can see how hard it is for top esports because Knight is looking for the one-shot onto Reckless. Each one of these individual players are trying their best to 1v9, but the teamwork is just better from FNATIC overall.
They are landing everything they need to. They're responding at the right time. And every time we catch a glimpse of the FNATIC support staff, these games 1, 2, and 4, they are ecstatic. The gold lead 1,600. It is still very close, and you cannot discount Karsa on this Nidalee. 5, 1, and 4. We're getting into the 15-minute mark. And if you take any of the previous games from this series as a baseline to define expectations, FNATIC have been consistently better at the skirmishes and the team fights when relatively even in gold.
But Karsa's going for exactly the build that can try to carry in these games. It's Rod of Ages, so it's very scrappy, it's very skirmish focused. Going into Azonia's next, it's all about buying him time so he can get into Cougar form, because, you know, it's great to poke on Italy, but it's even better to actually commit into those fights. Knight just chunking out Bufo, but he should be fine, even with Tom Kench on the way.
Okay. I love it. Throw up the emote. And just quick update for you. I love my little, accomplishments and quick stats. And at 15 minutes with 21 kills in this game, it is the bloodiest game of Worlds 2020.
Oh, look at the junglers.
So far, thanks in part to Selfmade and Karsa being involved in 8 and 9 of their team's respective kills. The previous record was 18, so we smashed that record.
I mean, Selfmade 7.6k. This is the FNATIC style. No, this isn't the FNATIC style. This is the Selfmade style that he tried to teach FNATIC in the summer split, and it worked here. They won 3-6-9.
I really hope Selfmade is going iEdge next. It takes me back to his Infinity Edge Rek'Sai builds that I think we were casting that game, in fact. Selfmade as a player is at home in this meta, and FNATIC as a team are demonstrating they can throw down with the best that Worlds has to offer.
It is such a telling story when you look at the CS numbers, and Selfmade has the most CS on his team, 142. Nemesis isn't farming. Nemesis is the jungler. Nemesis is the ganker, always playing around Reckless or Bwipo trying to find these plays. And with the Rift Herald, they're going to get a charge onto the inhib tower.
And of course, if Selfmade can deliver, if he can find the damage on this Graves, that can be how FNATIC eliminate one of the tournament favorites. It's 3 towers to 2. The Rift Herald will get all the way into the inhibitor turret, and as we zoom out again, it's still 1,000 gold difference, and the Dragon's going to be up in a minute and a half.
It's just hilarious, because Selfmade is literally the mid laner for the team. He just cleared like 2-3 waves in mid while the rest of his team was pushing topside. Now has a whole jungle to fall back on, and will be going into, very likely, the Infinity Edge Grit Chance build after that Zeal item completes.
And if there was ever a meta to do it in, this might be the meta. And if there was ever a champion to do it on, 3-1-5 Graves might be it.
Whoa.
They are looking for 369. No flash, no unstoppable onslaught, no real way to retreat. Hylissang is just body blocking, and 369 will get a decimate.
Wait a second, there's a lot of top coming.
Dawning Shadow will buy some time, and the rest of top esports are now threatening the dive. That's going to be a flash away. You can't curve fast enough. 369 will just about go down. Hylissang gets the kill, and it will cost him his life, and now Reckless is the next target. The rest of FNATIC are simply nowhere to be seen. Hunting the kill costs them 2.
This is the second time we've seen it this game, though. FNATIC, Reckless and Hylissang getting really, really confident, playing outside the fog of war, looking for a play, but top esports being able to punish and move around on the map, and it's those globals helping them out so much. The Senna ult to buy time, the ultimate from Yuyanja also to get them in range, and now the bot lane from FNATIC is dead right as the Ocean Dragon spawns.
This is the style of game that defined game 1 and 2 of this series. If you are just joining us, you have to watch those ones. 24 kills in 18 minutes. If this goes to 5, I might need an oxygen tank, because another team fight is being set up. You can see that both Reckless and Selfmade are making their way from the base, and they are not going to engage this one, despite Hilly arriving late to the party. I'll just pop the Scry's Bloom, not spot anyone, in fact, and top esports will get their first Drake of the game.
Yeah, the bot lane from FNATIC really trying to maximize their output in this, but you saw it was just at the same time that Nemesis, I believe, took a reset, and 369, a support set, and Ashe. Like, Sion's not really killable. It takes you about a year and a half to be able to cut through his HP bar, so the rest of top are able to get into the fight, and Hylissang is able to trade onto 369, but it's not the same when your bot lane completely dies there. The shutdown also going on to Karsa, so he's stacking up and feeling real good.
6-1-4, 10 of top esports 11 kills Karsa has been involved in. Before that fight, Reckless did not have the Hurricane completed. Not that it would have had a huge influence on the pick or the fight, but crucially, I think the fact that they lost their duo allowed top esports the uncontested Drake. And as we look through some of the rest of the items, that Ghostblade, Last Whisper for Knights. We've got Phantom Dancer picked up for Selfmade, hugely influential. And the Dead Man's Plate for Hylissang as well. He will just get spotted by Yuyanja on the way out, and 369 not going to chase any further. So set ourselves into pushing the waves. likely slow things down a little unless someone's out of position.
Yeah, you know, I like how TES were trying to play around that, because one thing that can sometimes be a problem for Hylissang is he goes on solo warding missions into the enemy jungle, and you saw he went in there to place down the wards. 369 was sort of looping around, so TES can really look on these, you know, ward timers from Hylissang to try and punish and find that pick, and those are sort of the windows they want to play around at the moment, because otherwise, really, I don't think they can do a whole lot proactively. I think they're very good at punishing the oversteps and the overreaches from FNATIC, but I mean, FNATIC are always going to be the ones, you know, pressing the gas and trying to speed up this game. And
not only from a composition, but from a series playstyle point of view as well. FNATIC are trying to grab the semi-finals. They are trying to eliminate another LPL team, and this game is very, very close. I will keep a close eye on Nemesis. He's down 93, 97 CS. Yo, 93 CS, correction. About to
He's the jungler, okay.
Horizon. Exactly my point, right? As you were talking about it earlier, Nemesis is the one that is conceding all of his lanes and his farm so that Selfmade can be the super carry for the time being. And that means when we get to these team fights, that Galio ultimate needs to be on top of Selfmade. Make sure that he doesn't go down, because if it does, a lot of that lead goes with him. Yeah,
I mean, Selfmade is insanely strong, and I'm a little worried for TES as we continue to scale up, because with, you know, the primary damage dealers being lethality-based, it's so easy to actually itemize into the Ninja Taubis. You already see that in mid lane from Nemesis, you know, a lot of armor being built up on the front lines of Bwipo and Hylissang, and on top of that, Selfmade builds up his grit within fight, so all of that armor hard counters a lot of the lethality being purchased by TES, and that's actually why we see a bit of a pivot from Knight, who has now itemized into the Mortal Reminder third item, because he realizes that he's going to be stuck hitting frontline, hitting a lot of beefy boys for this entire game. He's got to change things up in those items.
And that just means when we get our team fight eventually, once again, end of this series, it comes down to execution. Once again, it comes down to vision. And I think something that we have seen several times is honestly surprise engages. In the very first game, I was critical of a TP in just to get 2 kills. And you put me in my place correctly. Kills are objectives. They do equal gold. And what FNATIC have shown is when they get both of those, they can win games.
Yeah.
So, with a minute and a half to Dragon, vision was cleared out in the southern quadrant of the map. Top Esports had a number of wards. FNATIC have done a decent job of clearing out at least the controls. Now they're trying to shove those waves out. You can see 369 catching the bottom lane. So I feel like we're going to get this push and pull of lane prio and set up for the next Drake.
Yep, that's exactly what we're going to be seeing. And all the while, TES are just going to be theory crafting, talking to each other. How do we solve the Selfmade problem? Because he's got a Wraith Blade now, the Phantom Dancer too, so great for surviving in these fights. And they don't have a lot of hard CC options. I think it does come down to 369 and his sign and his positioning to be able to find out Selfmade. By himself, can't really do a whole lot of anything, but working around the rest of his team, timing that with, you know, the poke spells of a Nidalee and a Jace, making sure those can connect onto the Graves are going to be absolutely critical.
And when you see how much damage that Q from Graves does to 369, with the Frozen Heart, Sunfire, and the Ninja Tabi, Selfmade needs to get around him. 30 seconds to the Ocean Drake. You can see a number of top esports pings. Hylissang is going to get rooted in place. Bwipo is going to throw Call of the Forge God. That knocks up Jackie Love. And Yuanja gets taxied all the way backward thanks to a showstopper. The volley comes out, and now top esports on the re-engage. It's Hylissang. That's the first to fall. And 369 is a beefy frontliner. Flash over the wall from Nemesis. Doesn't really find the taunt. Goes golden, and Selfmade forced to run for his life. There's not enough damage. There's not enough connecting. And it's top esports that are winning this fight. Bwipo goes down. 3 members of FNATIC are deleted.
And top esports, forget the Dragon, they can head straight over towards there, and they have the sustain to live through this one. Selfmade is trying his best to get into a position for a steal, but TES know he is there, and they are ready to shut down his chances of taking this Baron.
No flash available for him. Smite appears to be on cooldown. Collateral's there as well, not available. And Selfmade's backing away. The Dragon should be the target, and with the help of Reckless, they should have enough time to do this. How quickly can Top Esports get down there? I don't think they'll be able to. No. So, Baron goes to Top Esports, the gold lead as well, the kill lead as well, and FNATIC are 1 Dragon away from Ocean Soul.
It doesn't get much better than this, Trevor. I mean, it is so scrappy in that river. And the problem for Selfmade is actually the range difference. It wasn't even the CC going down onto him. It was just really hard to get past the Scion and the Tom Kench. So Karsa's landing his poke, Knight's doing the same. And you can see it was FNATIC that started it off. It was a really good Ornhorn popping out from Brippo that caught both the Tom Kench and Jackula, forced him to flash away. But then you look on the left hand of your screen, Reckless is low, Selfmade is low. Selfmade doesn't really want to hit a tank, so he's just sort of left, right, clicking all over the place, can't do much of anything, while TES get free reign. The knock-up as well into the spear from Karsa zones Selfmade away from the fight, so it was just really well executed. When everyone was bundled up like that, it was really hard for FNATIC to get past that front line.
And look at the support staff for TES. The tension is palpable because, again, they are down in the series. They need to win this game to force a game 5, but with Baron and the Red Bull Baron power play now helping them out, they're up 2K. 3.5 minutes, 3 minutes 50 rather, until the next Dragon is up. And we're now starting to see things get difficult for FNATIC. Top Esports pick up their 4th tower of the game. The Shock Blast obliterates Reckless's HP bar. And here comes Hylissang. That's a showstopper into 3. The Ash Arrow goes all the way back, goes on a Jackie left, but there's no further follow-up. Where's the Galio ultimate? It's finally going to arrive as Hylissang is running for his life. Whippo is trying to keep 369 busy. And Top Esports will get the inner turret once the next mini wave arrives.
FNATIC are just frantically throwing everything they can at Jackie Love. It worked for a couple games, but not here because the sustain is too much. You put some damage down, sure, but you lost all your ultimates. And with the Nidalee and Senna, you don't take any damage from TES. So the tower will go down and Nemesis gets chunked.
The unstoppable onslaught goes in with 369, finding the knock-up. That's a chase back. But Whippo and Hylissang are trying to zone away the rest of Top Esports. 369 below 1,000 HP. Hylissang will fall. Flash forward, the decimating smash will not find a target. And finally, Whippo will get taken out. Selfmade and Reckless cannot get past Scion, cannot get past Top Esports front line, and FNATIC will lose their inhibitor.
Trevor, there's another minion wave here. 369 is going back to base. He has teleport to get back in. TES want to push to the match point.
Collateral damage is available in just a few seconds. FNATIC might find themselves in a do-or-die game 5. Can they pull off a miracle and stop the bleeding? Selfmade is chasing forward. Collateral damage is blocked. The Devour from Yuyanja keeps Jackie Love alive. The Nexus Tower will fall. Nemesis steps out, cannot do a thing, and now Hylissang all of a sudden is trying to slow down the bleeding. There's no more minions to work with. This will buy some time. Reckless is chunked low by the accelerated Shock Blast, but the Nexus is the focus. The Nexus is being destroyed, and FNATIC won the first 2, lost the next, and Top Esports will force a game 5.
Karsa entered God mode in that game. At the start, it looked like it was over. It looked like FNATIC had it. They got the fights